Hi everyone, welcome to my channel or welcome back to hanging out with me. Today I want to talk about language. As you might probably understand, English is not my mother language. It's actually the third language that I started to learn. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to create this channel, because I want people to feel safe and I want people to understand that if you know something, if you know a language, you should feel free to speak it out loud. You shouldn't be afraid of, people making fun of you. You shouldn't be afraid of your accent or anything at all. You learn a language and you achieve it, and that's such a beautiful thing, and you should feel proud of it. You should feel proud of yourself. And in this video, I want to talk to you guys about 10 ways to, let's say, practice, but it's kind of like improve. Let's say improve. 10 ways to improve your language or learn a new language if you're interested in. Yeah, so without any further ado, let's hang out. Number one is music. Okay, so music is probably the reason why I started learning language real fast, because for me, if I'm listening to something, I want to know what it says. I want to know what it means. And I want to hum along with that. Listening to a song and humming along itself is a huge help learning a new language. And not only adults, but children can also benefit from it. If you find a song that you're interested in, that you like, search for its lyrics and try to sing along with that. And this will also help with your accent and your intonation. Number two is diary. Okay, using the language every day is the key to learn it. And what better way is there than keeping a diary? When you keep a diary, when you document your life, you're forced to learn new basic words. You're forced to learn the things that you used during that day, or the feelings that you felt, or the stories that you heard. You want to document all of them, and in order for you to document all of them, you need to know all the necessary words, and that helps you to learn the vocabulary, learn the daily speech, what else? Learn the grammar, and feel free to look back over time and read back what you've done so far, and even you can see how much you improved. And I actually started writing my journals in English when I was 14. My brother actually forced me to do that. He started to read my diaries, and I remember writing some things about him, and he started being mad, like, why did you write that? Why did you do that? Blah, 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 blah. And that's the day I decided to document my life in a language that he didn't know, which was English. So win-win. It was a win-win for me. I really, really saw the improvement. Maybe someday I will read to you guys the things that I wrote when I was 14. I mean, I did not know English whatsoever, but I still wrote, and it still gave me a lot of practice. And I feel like it is so nice to write a diary itself, because when you write a diary, you kind of close the world that you're in, and for like a second, you're just in your own word. You are expressing your feelings, you are going down the memory line, and it is so different to do that in another language. So you are facing something new in yourself, and the thing they say, like, one language, one person, that's also that's so true, but that's also true for you. Your personality changes through the language. For me, for example, I am more brave in English, I'm more confident in English, and I'm shy in Turkish, and I don't know why. It's not like a characteristic shy, but it's about like a speaking. Okay, number three is movies. This is probably the number one tip I gave to my friends when they come to me and ask like the ways to improve their language. And I always say, Put out your favorite movie and don't use subtitles, or watch some animations, which is a great way to learn the language. Because, okay, let's first start with animations. Animations targets the native kids, so they don't use it like fancy words, like those old words. They use daily words, they use daily speech, and their grammar is so much easier than, let's say, like a drama movie, right? You do not need to see the subtitles when you watch an animation because they're slow and they are, how do I say that? Like, they don't talk too fast because they want kids to be able to understand it. And that's why I feel like it is a perfect way to practice the language and not use the subtitles and still, I don't know, have fun. I know animations are not like for everyone, for every ages, but we all do have our favorite animations that we just want to go back in time and watch it. And here's a perfect reason to watch it. Practice your language with them. And if you're not ready to quit subtitles just yet, I have a great app recommendation for you. Again, not sponsored. Wish it was. Language learning with Netflix. It is a great, I would say, like transition from the subtitles to not subtitles. And it is really easy to use. You actually have to open the Netflix from browser because it's a browser app that you kind of install. And when you open Netflix, you just kind of click on Netflix language learning with Netflix. Language learning with Netflix is a great way to practice the writing of the words and the pronunciations because in language learning with Netflix, you choose the language that you want to learn from and you choose the language that you want to learn. Let's say you're watching a movie in Spanish and you are Italian. So you choose the language that you want to learn from is in Italian, and then you say that you want to learn Spanish. And as the movie goes, there are two subtitles shown in the screen. One is in Italian and one is in Spanish. And if there's some words that you don't understand, you just come to that word like with your mouse and the movie automatically pauses itself and you can see the meaning for that word. You can also add that word to your list, which is perfect. That's, like I said, that's a really... how do I say that? That's a really handy app for me. And I kind of use it for practicing Spanish and German. I'm actually watching The Dark. I mean, we all know that Dark, the TV show, the scary show that everyone is afraid to start. But I actually watched it with language learning with Netflix, and I chose English as the language that I want to learn from, and then I of course input German as the language that I want to learn. And even from watching 8 episodes, I saw a huge improvement between the first episode to episode 8. At some point you just need to quit that app too. Remember that, keep that in mind. And in movies, you can watch whatever you want, whatever you like, and you'll still get something in return. Okay, number 4 is Tolkien. We all know the best way to learn a new language is to speak it. Most of the time, we lost all of our time in practicing the grammar, writing like the word lists, and they mean nothing if you don't actually put that work in practice. This brings us to the question, who should we talk with? The best answer for that is native speakers. This in return will lead you to sound more like a native speaker, and also this will help you to understand that accent, understand that specific accent. There are tons of ways to connect to native speakers. You might have a friend or colleague who will be willing to talk to you in exchange for a coffee, or you can put some ads on your local stores. Number 5 is the language apps. This is actually related to number 4, which is talking, because language apps helps us to find natives in a way. There are some apps that I have been using or used over the years, and there are some apps that I have heard of, and which I will be linking all of them down below. So I already talked about the language learning with Netflix app, so I'm not gonna explain that any further. But there's a lot of other apps. There's Cambly, which is, I mean, if you are trying to learn a language, I'm pretty sure that you heard about Cambly. It's like self-explanatory. There's Cake, which is, I haven't tried Cake before, but I have friends who did. And they said it's like really fun because they put you in conversations and they want you to actually like kind of act like them. They give you like a script, you read it, you practice your grammar, your intonation. It's perfect. And there's Duolingo, which is another perfect way to practice a language. But remember, these are not the apps that like teach you, but these are the apps that will improve you. So you cannot learn, I don't think that anyone can learn a language just with an app. There are tons of them, and I will be linking down below. And I'm pretty sure that you can find local apps that will help you learn that language. Number 6 is today's platform, which is YouTube, TEDx, TED blog, what else? Podcasts. They're a really great way to educate yourself, but in like different ways. You learn a language and you also educate yourself in a way that you want to do. Let's say you are interested in science. Just try and find some TEDx talkers or like blogs, or sometimes like, I don't know, YouTubers that are interested in the things that you are, and try to watch them, listen to them, and this will help you huge time. And these platforms are a really great way to take that internet negativity into something positive, because let's face it, the internet addiction is real, and I feel like we all have that, especially my generation. I have that, but I try to take that into something positive. I try to watch YouTube. I don't watch the TEDx talkings. I feel like that's so boring, but that's just me. But I love listening to podcasts, and I do not listen them in my native language at all. I always try to listen them whether in English. I mean, most of the time they're in English, but sometimes in Spanish as well. And even in Spotify, there are great podcasts, and in YouTube is like a great big world, and you can basically find anything you want. Okay, I wasn't sure to add social medias in this tip, but I decided not to because I feel like it's a little bit more different than watching something than social media. So number 7 is social media. Kidding. Which is Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, I don't know, LinkedIn maybe. Is that kind of social media? I don't know. Okay, social media it's tricky. It's a really hard to try and benefit from it, but once you learn how to, they're actually greatest. I follow Pamela Reif. She's actually from Germany, but she is an international influencer. She's one of the international influencers, and she does her stories in English most of the time, but she does have another second account, which is Pam Goes Nuts, I believe, and the content over there is purely in German. And the first time I started following her, I couldn't understand. So when she started speaking in German, I couldn't understand. But I've been following her for like 7 months now, and now I understand her. Again, I'm sorry. I understand her accent better. I understand the things that she says, and she also wrote down write down the stories, like write down the sentence that she says, which is a great help again. Number 9 is learning the culture. You cannot learn a language from another language. You cannot learn that specific language that you want to learn by just translating into your own language. So the culture is the essential. Learning a language goes beyond than learning the words and basic grammar rules. Just because you know how to say lemon and glass in French doesn't mean that you'll be able to order lemonade in France. And actually, you might be shocked by the thing that you get in return. Understanding the culture is like having a context that allows you to give the right meanings to the words that you're learning. And the ways to learn a culture is, of course, go and live that country, like Emily in Paris. And if you cannot travel that country, you can read newspapers, local magazines, blog posts. These will help you to learn the language, and it will minimize the mistakes that you will make through your speaking. Number 9 is reading. I feel like on this video, I'm all like, you have to talk. You can't just memorize them and just be with it. But reading is different. When you can read, you can learn. I know it sounds like academically boring and maybe a waste of time, but it will actually help you to connect the missing dots in order to learn that. Brain is able to remember more once it sees the word. And when you come across a word that you don't know, you might be able to understand what it means by like reading the whole text. And sometimes a word alone means nothing, but when it's surrounded by the words that you already know, suddenly the unknown word might make sense to you. The key in here is knowing your level. Start with basics, start with fairy tales, the stories and blog posts and newspapers, and try to increase your level as you go. This will also help you to learn the narrative, the grammar, the culture. Number 10 is, this means, okay, I feel like I put my favorite till the last because I really want to close out with this, which is, do not worry about making mistakes. This should not keep you away from speaking a language. Most of the time, we learn the grammar, we learn the words, we learn the pronunciations, but when we come across the people that know that language, we suddenly like freeze and can't say anything because we are afraid of making mistakes. Let's face it. But why? You learned a language. You put your work in it. You gave up your time. Maybe your friends went to bowling while you're practicing that language. I don't know. So you learned that language. You achieved that. It was not given to you. Why are you not speaking it? Why are you not talking? And believe me, if you're speaking to an understanding person, they won't mock or make fun of you. And if they do, that means you're speaking to the wrong person. So do not change the language. Change the person you're talking with. I feel like this is a good way to end this video. And thank you for hanging out with me. I hope this will help you to find that courage to speak. See, like I mispronounced that, but I didn't care because I'm still gonna talk whether I mispronounce things or not. I'm not afraid of making mistakes. They help me to learn better. Like I said, I hope it gives you motivation to speak or learn a new language. I hope it does. And if it does, comment down below. And if you are a person who speaks non-native language daily, feel free to rate me. Feel free to write that in the comments. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know by commenting down below. And if you wanna see me or this kind of content more, make sure that you subscribed and turn on the bell for further videos. What am I saying? Turn on the bell for notifications, and I hope to see you guys really soon. Bye and take care. Oh my gosh. I'm like, where is this sound coming from? The window's open. Believe me, you do feel more confident. Right now I don't. Actually, I have no idea what I said.